What is going on, you guys? It's Chris, aka the Nerd Dad, and today is going to be episode 2 breakdown of HBO's The Last of Us. Episode 1 was amazing. Episode 2 was really, really good. So if you guys didn't watch the episode yet, go watch it right now because you guys don't want any spoilers yet. So you guys have already been warned. If you guys haven't seen it, we're going to get into full spoilers. If you guys were here last week, my friend Semz Nerd and the Brodalorian joined me on the channel so we can break down episode 1. Today, we're going to be joined by the two of them, as well as my friend John over at the Collectors Outpost. I will leave a link in the description down below to where you guys can follow them as well, because they just put out great content. So I don't see why you guys wouldn't want to follow them. So with that being said, you guys, let's get straight into the breakdown. All right, guys, so The Last of Us, episode 2. We got 58 minutes of the actual show, but then it seems like we got 12 minutes of the flashback. So in reality, we got like 38 minutes of the actual show. Actually, I'm gonna start with Simon because I saw your review when I woke up this morning, so I want to see what you thought of the actual 38 minutes of the show that we all really wanted to see.
So we're not talking about the intro, yeah?
We will.
Oh yeah, cool. That's calm. I thought it was sick, man. Really, really sick. I had a hard time. Same as Elvis. I don't know what you're saying, John. For me, I gave it 10. It's god tier. It's probably just the budget, bruv. Budget, props, storytelling, acting. It is a perfect, so far, perfect combination. It is probably going to be one of the best shows ever made. If it stays like this to the end, because I have zero nitpicks, zero complaints, flawless, bruv. My only thing now is I can't actually tell which I preferred, episode 1 or episode 2. I thought this episode was really sick. And that's what I'm going to say for that. Really, really pleased with it, man. I want to just stress it enough. Really sick episode, man.
Elvis?
Dude, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, 10 out of 10 for me. Still absolutely love the show. It feels like every episode's going to be a banger. And that's kind of what I'm expecting the rest of the series. I think it's all just going to keep being this good. And they've made so many little deviations. Is that the right word? I mean, little alterations from the game. And I've loved every decision, again, that they've made. I'm surprised at how many changes there are from the game, but every single change that they've done has just been so perfect. So anyway, yeah, still absolutely loving it. 10 out of 10 for me.
All right, and you guys, today we have the Collectors Outpost John down here. This is another person who just finished the game, maybe a week or two ago, roughly?
It was like literally a couple days before the first episode came out.
So this is exciting because... Go ahead, sorry.
So actually seeing that game that you just finished, and number one, as a video guy, you know, I'm a cinematographer, I'm a photographer, I've done indie films and music videos and stuff like that. Playing a game that was so cinematic to start with was, number one, unbelievable. And you know, and Chris knows, I actually just got the PS5 after 2 years of trying to get it. So sitting down with those graphics and that cinematic feel of that story, which is probably one of the greatest storylines I think I've ever seen in a game, bringing that to an actual screen and it like interpreting if that's a word, you know, coming to life the way it did, it's like literally watching the game, you know, in real life, and it's done so well. The sound effects, I believe the composer was also working on it, so that translates perfect. Yeah. And then the guy who I guess you know, created the game or whatever, he's working on it. So it's like it's a perfect rendition of the game. Like there's nothing to complain about it, you know. And then those little changes are awesome. You know, we're getting a little bit more story that we didn't get before. Yeah. So it's completely amazing. I love it.
The one thing I'm really enjoying right now is the fact that Simon and I have played since PS3, correct?
Yeah,
we both
PS3,
played the PS3.
Man. The dinosaur, mate. Dinosaur tech.
All the way until now. So it's cool. We actually have 4 different perspectives, but in reality, it's almost the same one between me and Simon, and then you and Elvis, because you guys just finished it. It's still very, very fresh in your minds compared to me and Simon. It's something that we've played multiple times. So I don't know.
So I didn't play the older version from 3. How I know, because I know they just re-released the game, like they like remastered it and everything. How is
it was a full remake.
Yeah, it's a
full remake.
It's a remake. Yeah, they remastered it for PS4 and then they remade it now. So it's been
like
through.
Completely overhauled, right?
It's completely different. It's the same game. It just looks a million times better.
I've watched a lot of side-by-sides on YouTube of, you know, what it looked like on the PS3 version to the remastered version, and yeah, they really did a good job. I really love the meme that Semz posted the other day when it was, me crying in 2003 and then, whatever, 2017, all the different shots of Joel with Sarah, what's his daughter's name? I forgot.
Sarah.
So it's like me crying this year, me crying this year, me crying this year, and then with Pedro in this year. That's pretty funny.
Well, like I said in the last episode, I teared up 4 times: PS3, PS4, PS5, and now the actual live action. And now it's different because the first 2 times it came out, I wasn't a dad. So the first 2 times, right?
It's
and
different,
then
huh?
And then PS5, and then watching the show, I'm like, that one hurts. I enjoyed the episode. Was it short? Yeah, but I also feel like they crammed a lot of parts of the game that's actually later on.
Yeah.
All in one
they're doing
episode.
some good,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, sprinkling some breadcrumbs on it, mate. Yeah.
So in the beginning, we start September 24th, 2023 in Indonesia, Jakarta, Indonesia. And this is when we start seeing the things develop, and the not even the country or the world is experiencing. It's just in Indonesia they're dealing with not even an outbreak. It's just violent patients. We meet was it Ibu Ratana, who is a scientist, I believe, and that's when she
she's some scientist, bruv.
Yeah, and that's when she discovers.
And it seems like she has. It felt like she had a background.
She knew like her work was like with the fungus sort of thing.
Yeah,
that's what
right,
they her in.
Yeah. So she.
I just want to say real quick as well. Yeah, they mentioned Indonesia in episode 1.
Yes,
and I was
on the
like,
radio.
yes, bruv, like those little tie-ins. Yeah.
So
too sick,
I believe I sent it to all 3 of you guys. There's a TikTok video, or they mentioned that in reality, Ellie and Joel could have gotten sick in the very first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were dodging bullets left and right.
There was no pancakes.
The
no
shitty
flour,
pancakes,
the cookies from the neighbors, as well as
the biscuits.
And there's one more. I think there's one more that they avoided eating anything that had to do with the flour, so they could have gotten sick very, very, very easily.
Yeah, the biscuits in the morning, but he was on Atkins.
Yeah,
and then he was supposed to bring home a cake, but he forgot.
Yeah, the cake.
That's the last one. Yeah, and the cookies, it wasn't chocolate chip.
Right, it's not what she wanted.
Exactly. So that was all avoided, but unfortunately, like even if she would have eaten the cookies, she was still gonna be gone at the end of the episode. So
you know what the moral of the story is, isn't it? Don't eat crap you don't want to eat, bro. That's it.
Dude, that new opening slapped though. That was a whole new way of showing fear. Good lord.
Bro, she said like, what did the guy said like, what should we do? And I said as a joke, nuke everything. And then she took a long pause and she was just like, bomb everything. And I was like, damn, like, okay, yeah, cool. We're thinking the same. Like, it made me really happy
that whole opening scene really felt like what we went through just like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
They did it on purpose, bro. They just did it on purpose, mate. They must.
I got like PTSD.
Wow, it hits home.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. And one thing that I didn't realize that happened in the game, I don't know if you guys remember this, she said bomb everything, right? And this is one thing I'm really enjoying about the show is we're getting backstory.
Yeah.
It's not necessary backstory, but it's backstory that really, really works.
Yeah, in the game, it's very much just, okay, it's happening.
It happened. That's it.
Right.
It's like making
filling in some of the gaps.
Yeah, it's making the infection, the virus, or to say, it's making the cordyceps a character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which was never a big thing in the show. Oh, they're infected. That's it. But now it's making it into a character, and when
especially now with the whole hive mind thing with the
that
strings
is
that
so sick, man. That is so sick. But yeah, we'll talk about that ending, bro.
After that, they leave the little store that they're at. They're also testing Ellie, still watching her to see if she changes or anything like that. And now they're walking through the city, and we see the 2 towers that we saw that was knocked over, like you see in the video game. And she mentions what happened here. She goes, "Well, the bombs went off to try and stop the infection,
to maintain the infection."
Do you remember that in the video game? That was mentioned.
They talk about it in the game.
Yeah, you don't there's no like actual bombs falling.
Yeah, it was just very quick. They said the same exact thing. So if you're playing the game, that probably just kind of skipped your mind. You say, oh, whatever. But now watching the show, and she says, bomb everything. Then they mention it in the show. Makes more sense in the game now.
Are you guys, when you're watching the show, going, oh, that line's from the game. Oh, that's from the game.
I'm doing
Oh,
I'm doing that launch from the game, but for me, like mostly it's like scenes and shots and angles and certain things. Now, I have a question: Is this show filmed in the volume? Do you know?
a lot of it is
Because
outside.
I'm having a problem telling a difference between the set and the set extensions. It is so
Yeah.
seamless.
It's really, really sick. Like when
Yeah.
they're
can't
climbing
figure out
over
if
the
it's-
cars, they must be real cars
everything.
because they look real, but then the background's like borderline real as well. It's
So
really good.
usually I can find where the background kind of splits off into what the screen would be or the CG would be, but this is like as flawless as like one of the Marvel movies. Like I can't find the set extensions,
Yeah.
and I'm looking for them.
When they're walking down the overpass and Ellie is making jokes like, "What about the ones where their heads split open and they have
Yeah.
radar
Yeah.
like bats or whatever?"
Yeah.
That scene when they're walking down that overpass, my wife turns to me and says, "Is that a set?" And I
Yeah,
said,
mate.
I don't think they put mushrooms all over Boston, honey. I think I was like, I think maybe the road is a set, but everything else got to
I
be
am
green
praying to
screen.
God that they put like even if it's just a YouTube video, but more of like a behind the scenes, because I'm
Oh, I
dying
love
to
that.
know
I love that.
what was actual set and what was
Yeah.
extension, was anything in the volume, or it's incredible.
It looks
John, I
so
don't know
nice.
if you knew this, but I mentioned to the guys last week, was the budget for this show for 9 episodes equals the budget for 5 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Wow.
What?
It's insane,
Yeah.
bro.
And it's
Insane.
funny now because I saw this episode, I saw the details, I was like, yeah, no, I
You
see
see it, yeah,
the,
you know, bro.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's
You
hard
see
to
it.
So what is
comprehend.
the episode budget?
no idea.
They don't even know,
All right,
bro.
so what's the whole season budget?
I
guess
guarantee
you would just
episode
calculate it.
1 was 2 times more than this episode just because of the amount of planes they added. All that CGI.
Man,
I mean, I
that's-
think it's fair to say
wow.
it's probably the biggest budget ever for 9 episodes ever.
That's huge.
Yeah. But
yeah,
you know
I'm
what?
trying to
It's
think,
like, how else would you do it? It's like the whole thing has to be
Yeah.
created.
I know a lot of it was actual sets. I know there. I saw some.
Now
some
I know,
behind the
like
scenes.
when they did, if you remember, what was the one with Will Smith?
I Am Legend.
Yes,
I
I Am
love
Legend.
I
They
Am
actually
Legend.
filmed that in the city over here, so they blocked out just 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks at a time, and the move. But they couldn't do that for this.
Nah,
This
no
is
way,
highway
yeah.
streets and
Yeah.
overpasses. and,
I actually thought they were gonna like skank their way around it. I thought like we wouldn't see much outdoor stuff, so it'll all be indoors. I was actually really surprised how much they're filming outside. So we
it's
can see everything.
expensive.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just you just see dollars on the screen coming out.
Yeah.
And what about that hotel set? I mean, they were
Oh,
there for what,
yeah.
a minute?
Yeah.
And it looked
Yeah.
exactly like the game. It's all flooded with the rank water. It's got the bell hop stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm. Was that frog in the game? The frog made me die, bro. And that frog started hitting the piano. It was such a child. I started laughing so hard, like.
So there we have the hotel.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, that's so good.
It's good.
and it looks exactly like the game, except Tess wasn't
Yeah.
with you when you went through the hotel.
Exactly. So in reality, this is.
Oh,
this, in
that's
the
right.
game-
That
yeah,
was
in the-
later on,
yeah.
right?
In the game, this happens. Well, after Tess. Technically, in the game, right after this. Like right after.
Yeah. Because you're dealing with hunters at this point normally, which they
Yep.
skipped in the show.
Yeah. So in the
Well,
show,
isn't that what took Tess down? Was the hunters or like the crew or something? If I remember right.
It was
Was it
in the. It
quicker
was
in
the
the
game.
game?
It was in the museum. It was still the same in the game as it was the way she got infected. The things that were changed were obviously going through the buildings. Because remember, you go
Yeah.
through the buildings, and then
The
that's when
neck
you
was the
first.
same.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The bite
The
was
neck
in the
was
neck.
same. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah.
last
Yeah,
time
yeah.
it was that was our first introduction to a clicker, was in the building.
Really sick.
Yeah. So that was removed. And then the next one was. What was removed? No, it's just this part. So this is the part that's different. This
I am
part,
so
obviously-
glad they did those practically rather than CG.
Yeah.
Amazing.
This part was different, obviously. So this is where obviously they were going through the museum, which was probably one of the best parts in the entire episode, was the museum.
Yeah.
But this part was just trying to get through. They get through this section and they get separated. This one they weren't separated at all. But I think that's what made it a little scarier because now they're doing it together.
I also thought it was cool that the exhibits in the museum were the same Revolutionary wartime displays as it was in the game. Pretty cool.
What was your guys' thought of the introduction of the clicker?
The
Very
what?
sick.
The clicker.
Oh, anxiety.
Yeah, just fear-inducing, mate.
I mean, look at this.
It's that same buildup of the video game. It's unbelievable.
I mean, if you compare this to their concept of making the game, if I can get it.
So I was kind of thinking about that because I was like, wait, where's the skyscraper that you climb through that the building's like halfway sideways and you have to climb around all the scaffold and you know that was like a big moment where you run into the clickers there, and that's when you got some weapons and stuff. And I didn't notice all that until my second time watching it, which made me think, oh, my brain naturally said, okay, this works. Like I didn't even think about it. And then second time watching, I'm like, oh wait, they skipped a couple of levels.
Oh yeah.
But I think the reason for that was so that they could have the debut of the clicker in the museum, which totally worked. Like so
it made it more. It's scarier and it impacts you more. And for us, hearing the clicking sound, like you're like, oh, here it comes.
And the fact that he's like hiding behind something, and it's just very reminiscent of the game, other than you can't see like the white outlines when you go into the listen mode.
Oh yeah.
I noticed they cut away a lot of like gameplay moments. Like a lot of stuff like that was gone. Like
there was one.
And like going through certain bits, it's like they just chopped all that out. But like you
There
said,
was one.
Elvis, for me, it's
There's that was that meme with Leonardo DiCaprio when he whistles and he points. You know, that everyone posted about. And I saw when I saw Joel crouching. Oh, there it is. He's crouching. There it is. There it is. just like in the game, he's crouching to avoid, making a lot of sounds. What was I gonna say?
I did like Tess's little comment. That did genuinely make me laugh. I can't remember if that was in the game where she's just like absolutely knackered, and she's like, Ellie was like, "It's not that bad." And she's like, "Yeah, you try to climb all these stairs with my knees."
These knees.
I just laughed so hard, man.
Dude, I was there. I was like, "Oh, I feel your pain. I do."
Yeah.
One big thing in the show that works that they didn't do in the game was so like every other zombie movie is if one catches you, like for instance, I Am Legend. If they saw him, one of them would just start to yell, and they would all come, right? Or if one saw you, two saw you, whatever, they would just go get you. But now it's the idea that the cordyceps are growing underground, almost like it's communicating throughout the entire city. So it's like a landmine. Yeah. You hit it, there is no sound, but it's sensing where you're at, and now it's calling all the infected to where you're at.
They'll run in a straight line as well.
100%.
They completely blank her until she makes a noise and one light stops. Do you know
what I
mean?
love the shot of when I think it was a hand that was on the floor, and then you see like the little roots kind of come up and connect, and then all the other ones kind of turn. Like they are truly networked together.
How creepy are those cordyceps?
Horrible.
Really. When the doctor pulls it out and it kind of reaches at her, I'm like, oh god.
Have that snog, mate, at the end when he's like that.
Oh, the kiss of death.
Nah,
oh my god.
Bruv, kiss of death, bruv. Like that's Mortal Kombat thing, bruv. I was like, nah. Don't keep that mouth away from me, man.
So we know
disgusting, vile, disgusting.
A good example of the way the cordyceps work is before they went to the museum, Joel did hit the fungus on the floor to see if it was dry, and it was dry, so he's like, okay, it's safe to go in, right? And obviously we saw what happened with the infected that were in the museum, and it caused Tess to get bit, which is what, right here, right?
Yeah,
right here. So do you guys see her, I don't want to say concern, I want to say more like heartbreak in her eyes when she knows that she's infected? And then she's having that conversation with Joel, and now she's so aggressive towards him. Like, we got to go.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. Compared
well, if
to
you
the game,
remember,
it was
one
there,
big,
but,
one difference from the game is that poster where the boy got euthanized. The poster said if it was a neck or head injury, 5 to 15 minutes to full infection. So immediately she was like, let's get there. Let's go. you have to keep going. You can make everything right what we've done, and it's just like this huge urgency because she knows she's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, it's, you can literally see the emotion in her face when it happens. Yeah, obviously, like when you play like the PS3 and 4 version, you do see like a lot of facial expression, but seeing on PS5 and you see the wrinkles on her face, you're just like, wow, you can see the concern. Now you're seeing it live action. And what was it? This was the museum. So we're looking at two different ones, the game, and we're looking at the show.
I don't know if you put the photo up.
I can't see anything but a background, brother.
Really?
I just see the wallpaper.
That one? Right in the middle?
It's spinning.
It
Now
shows.
it's
It
not spinning,
says
now it's
something
gone.
loading, and then it goes away.
I think it's my thing acting up now. Sick. Awesome. Well, never mind. I guess that's not going to work then. So yeah, I mean, you guys knew what the museum looked like, right? In the game, compared to, what do you guys think about reenacting that and bringing that to life?
I got gassed, mate, because it's just one of those things where it's like, as soon as he says we're going through the museum, it's like, oh yeah, okay, sick. Like, but I don't know if that has the same effect on people who haven't played the game. They might just be like, yeah, cool, whatever, sort of thing.
I have a comment on that.
Mm.
So my wife was like, why are they going through the museum? Why don't they just walk around? I'm like, okay, as someone who hasn't played the game, I understand your comment.
Yeah.
But in the game, you have like a forced, you feel as if you have free will and choice of where you're going, but it is forced. And and you know, hashtag TV show. So like,
Yeah.
so they have the rubble on either side of the museum, and we have to go through, and like, all right, I swallow it as a fan who has played the game, but someone who hasn't played the game, I think they might call BS on that moment. Like they were walking through streets earlier, just go around the museum, you know?
Yeah.
Didn't they mention in the show that it's the fastest way, correct? Going that way.
Yeah, well, they gave a
or
couple of
something.
options. There was like the short, dangerous way, or the long, boring way, or something like that.
What they should have said was, should we go like the dangerous way, the short way, or the way we did it in the game?
Well, they actually said two different things. I don't want to demonetize your video, bro. They said the long way or the way, and then they picked that way at the end. But I think the way they get around that, Elvis, was, I think that's why they made a big deal of, you know, when she's on the roof and they look down and you see like all of them on the floor. I think that was a kind of a like justification, like, okay, maybe you can't just like walk the easy route.
No, it worked for me. I just
I was sweet with it, but again, the only one thing I have seen people say, it's really strange, was like someone left a comment on a video saying, when I was Joel, I just went back, headshot, dead. So that is the only thing. I was like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but Joel in this has to be Joel, whereas, you know, when you're playing a game, you kind of you inject yourself into Joel a little bit. I think that's why I really like the bit where he's got his whatever gun that is, AR, and he just blasts the clicker from like head to toe and it does nothing. I thought those bits were really good, like just to show you how strong they actually are. You can't just like get rid of them really quickly, kind of thing.
I'm hoping this comes up. Can you guys see that?
Yeah,
now I got it.
That was so sick, man.
Yeah, that was
so
straight
good.
out of the game.
I'm glad they done that in daylight, bruv.
Yeah.
Because in daylight, that slaps better than the game. I'm just like being honest.
Oh, yeah.
That is amazing, man.
I don't know why I noticed it's her right foot leading, just like in the game.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's the right foot. She's doing it right. You know, but obviously this is the
God,
scene.
you know, like you look at those two just side by side real quick, and it's like, really, which one is the game? Which one? Like, if you didn't know, that's how well it's done.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Obviously, this was a scene, you know, Tess realizes she's bit, and this is when she starts getting pretty aggressive towards Joel. And it's funny because Joel is kind of looking at her like, what's wrong with you? Why are you so like adamant about getting there so fast? Like, why are you getting mad at me? What did I do? You know what I mean?
Well, and right before this, they foreshadowed that when Ellie asked him, is it ever tough because you remember that they were once a person? And he's like, yeah, sometimes that's tough when it's literally happening to his significant other right now.
Right.
Can you guys see this one?
Yeah.
So obviously, this is what the Capitol building where they're standing at. This is where she realizes that she's bit. And then this was actually an interesting way of her sacrificing herself for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, the change was so good.
And this is
Really
where,
good.
John, you mentioned the shot with the hand and infected, and then the
Yeah,
cordyceps
and then
moving up with his hand.
yeah.
It's like the way they did it, and it's weird because his hand, it touched his hand, but he moved.
Yeah.
Like the hand thing, and that caused.
It's almost
that
like it's
signal.
almost like they charge a little bit, they give a little charge,
Some
you
life
know, and then you
energy.
hook into the network.
Yeah.
I will say that interaction between her and Joel was better in the game. There was, I felt like there was more emotion coming out of Joel when he said, like, "Hey, we got to go back, let's go," and he goes, "This is over.
I know
This
what
is
you're
over."
talking
How you can tell his like frustration. In the game, it took a while for him to understand the significance behind Ellie. I mean, the show. Sorry, like, it's taking him a while to understand that, compared to the game. But I just feel like he was definitely more aggressive in the game, to where he was like more upset. And here, it's like two different upsets. Like, there's a way of being upset where you're angry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the upset that you legitimately really want to cry.
Yeah.
And you can see it in Joel's face when he realizes, like, we have to leave her. And he pulls her away.
When he pulls her away, I felt that bit. Like
Yeah.
I've been so angry and upset before, where I've just left. It's like, that is a different type of thing. Like exactly what you're saying, Chris. Like when he has made the proper decision without saying it, as soon as he starts dragging her away, like that is like the point where he needs to do his own. He needs to finish the mission now. That's it, because of what's happened to her. And I thought that was done really, really good, man. Like yeah.
It's just, man, the way
In the game,
It's the game itself had like a lot of emotion, but when you bring it to actual people and it's filmed properly and you've got screaming people around you and stuff like that, it elevates it to such a level. You know what I mean? That the game, even though the game was so damn good, it's bringing it to a human level now.
Yes.
Where you're connecting to it as a person rather than a digital character. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it's like you feel it more because you see humans.
Like, so here, I don't know. For me, in her face, I'm seeing is she's angry.
She's like just pissed off that she's
like,
got the cure in her hands, bruv.
Yeah.
And then she's gonna kick the bucket before anything happens. Like,
and it's like the idea.
Short.
She says, our luck had to run out, right? So in the show, I feel like she said the luck eventually was gonna run out. Like, you're mad, like, damn it, why did it have to happen now? Compared to, she looks more upset.
There's another look a little earlier. It's when Ellie's got the scratch or the bite or whatever, and Ellie's like, "Well, if it had to happen to one of us, I'm glad it happened to me." And it cuts to her face, and Tess has a really good look there too, where she's like, "Ah, shit."
Which that's an interesting change it did in the game. In the show, was Ellie was bitten twice.
Well, that's because we don't have the spores.
Yeah, so she was bitten twice.
I was going to bring that up. Like, what happened to those?
So that's gone. So they're
gone, bro.
That's gone. It's over. The spores are not a thing in the show. From what I read, they felt the spores didn't make sense in the show because everybody would just get sick. Everyone's infected. That means the entire show you have to wear a mask like we did in 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess that does make
twofold.
sense.
One, you'd have to put the actors in gas masks all day long.
Yes.
And two, I mean, look at how the wind just moves spores around. So the whole world would be dead if the spores were real, basically.
And Elvis had a good Elvis called it last week, and he was 100% right. We were saying, where's the moment Joel's going to realize that she's immune, that Ellie's immune? Because in the game, they went to the subway, and he said, "How are you breathing all these spores?"
Yes.
He saw the bite, and Elvis said, "He said maybe she's gonna get bit." And I sat there, I was like,
they're gonna shoot you, bruv. They like Kevin Feige, you're gonna have a laser on you next week. He's like, this guy knows too much. Then end him.
And he was right. That was the way to show Joel, like, dude, she really is bit, and they were both bit within the same time. Maybe a 5-minute difference in between each other, and you saw the difference between Ellie and Tess. Big difference.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the kiss?
Disgusting,
so
bro.
gross.
Just vile, mate. Like,
Can we maybe skip that part because I almost threw up.
which is strange because at first it made sense to me because the idea of the spores being able to communicate around, wherever they're infected in Boston, wherever they're at, and it can sense that she's already infected. Don't attack her.
Yeah.
I also
You know what I mean?
thought though, I thought
That
it'd
makes
have that. I thought it'd be like, a lot of movies do that where it's like the zombies, they know you're infected, so they're
Yeah.
not going to do anything. But the fact that you got that like kiss thing to just make it happen faster, I was like, damn! Like in my mind, it's just showing like this cretin is not playing around. Like everyone has to be part of, as John said, the network as quick as possible. Like we're not even going to wait 2 minutes. You're going to get it done right now. F your lighter and these grenades. Don't worry about that. It's all finished.
I got
Well, and they
Avatar
also-
vibes.
They also
know,
did
the
Like
really
xenomorph,
good
xenomorph,
with,
bro. It's the xenomorph thing like that. It's great, mate. I love it.
So you know how like they start to lose their motor functions and get twitchy? So she couldn't light her lighter because she's like losing the ability to control her body. And then when she just kind of sits there and opens her mouth to like let it happen, like the cordyceps are already taking over her brain. And you can see in her eyes this little last bit of humanity, like, I can't believe I'm actually watching this happen. Like there's just this little last tiny bit of human left where it's like I'm just an audience to this at this point. I can't control my body. And with her, last moment of humanity, she's like, I'm gonna get this fucking lighter right.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, and then humanity's gone.
I would have just pulled the grenade pin.
I don't know if a grenade
Well,
pin would light the gas though.
Well, so whenever they ran away, she
Hmm.
threw the box of grenades. I would have just grabbed one,
Yeah.
and then
And just
as
set
they
one
run
off.
away, just pull the pin, and as they come in, just
I thought that, but then, like, I don't know.
This was
like,
this was a
maybe you
lot
lot
more
know, when you-
traumatic though.
if you
Yeah.
pull a grenade, like, how long do you have till it blows up? Like, I think she wanted to make sure the most infected came in. That's what I
Yeah.
thought,
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Did
That
you
was a
guys
lot
have
of
to
effective
change
much-
to the horde from Fedra?
Mm.
Mm-hmm. What?
Did you like how they changed it to the horde instead of Fedra agents coming?
Yeah, because it validates the idea of the network of the cordyceps being able to track you wherever you're at, and it was a good example of showing that. The weird part was seeing how the infected were all on the floor.
Mm. I
Wasn't
did like that though. I don't know if you lot clocked like
They're just
when the sunlight came out, the sunlight hit.
They
a
all
certain
kinda-
amount, and they did like a wave thing, like they all
Yeah.
got like they're all getting hurt from the fucking sun.
It
You know
reminded
why
me
that
of
is?
World War
Awful,
Z.
man.
World War Z.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it reminded me of.
Mm.
How they're all just bunched up together, and then they all just ran together.
Actual cordyceps in nature grow in damp, dark places and prefer not to be in sunlight.
That makes sense. See, and that's what kind of makes the show a little scarier now because it's kind of like
It's disgusting,
cordyceps.
bruv.
Cordyceps are a real thing. It just can't live in humans, not yet.
But I see people posting
Yeah.
on my Instagram like ants, robot ants that have been like infected. I'm like, I don't want to see that, bruv. Don't show me. This is fantasy for me.
Don't
like,
make it too
don't
real.
Don't make
Yeah.
it real, bruv. Like they already put 2023. And that was enough for me. Like in episode 1. Do you know what I mean?
Overall, you guys are enjoying the changes,
Every one of
or
them.
is there a change you don't like so far? We're 2 episodes in. Is there a change that you don't like so far compared to the game and the show?
I have one. I can't say that I don't like it. It's just something we missed, but I think they'll find a way to fit it in later. In the hotel, when you're fighting the hunters in the game, is the first time because Joel and Ellie get split, and Ellie.
The elevator drop, right? When
The
goes in
elevator
drops.
shaft.
Yeah.
We also had our first bloater in the hotel, so we skipped that. And
Oh, right.
when the hunter is holding Joel underwater and he can't get to his gun, and then Ellie is like, I shot the hell out of that guy, didn't I? So we're missing that whole piece from the hotel. Obviously, there's going to be a way to fit that in to another scene, but in the game, it happened in the hotel. So I fully anticipate we'll still get that scene, just in a different way.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I think little things like
completely
that they
forgot
can
about that.
sprinkle throughout.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah,
want
timeline wise, they have to balance it, not put too
Yeah.
much in.
Yeah, they can't make Joel and Ellie best
because
friends.
she doesn't have a gun yet,
Because
right?
they're not best friends. Like they're not
Doesn't have
anything
a
right now. They're like a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like it has to be really slow, and then it'll feel real. And when stuff goes bad, then it's gonna hit really bad.
I think they'll save it for Pittsburgh when they have what we know.
Oh, I
happens
forgot
there.
about
Mm.
Pittsburgh. That's
Because
right.
that was a hunter heavy
That's right.
area.
Yeah. I
So
forgot
I'm
about
sure
that.
that's where they'll end up doing it.
for me, nitpick wise, I ain't got nothing, man. Like, I don't have any
No.
complaints. I'm fully 100% trusting that this show is going to deliver every episode now. I can't see any filler. I can't see things from like, oh, I really wish they had this, because we'll get something else instead. I thought the first 10 minutes was so sick. Seeing her say bomb everything, I was like, damn, like that was. I don't think we'll get any more flashbacks now. I think that'd be it. But I think everything's really sick. You reckon we will still?
I think we will, yeah. Because it's like I still think they're making the Cordyceps a character. Something different.
Yeah, I think we'll probably get a couple little flashbacks here and there, even if they're just like 5-minute opening scenes. You know,
if it's 5 minutes, I'm okay with it. But then if you do 10, 12,
but we blew like
again,
10 minutes or 10, 12 minutes on this.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was long because they went to the calf and then they picked her up and then they're asking her in the car.
Honestly, I would be more than happy if we don't get any more flashbacks, because if we only have 9 episodes, you were saying, right? So we're down to 7. You know, and if we're at 7 episodes at an average of about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on openers and credits and stuff like that, you know, like we really need to dig into because there's so much game to get to, you know, but you're only doing 30-minute, 40-minute gaps.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to just stick to Joel and Ellie a little bit, you know, because we got to get to his brother and the wife.
Yeah.
You know,
and then
there
is
travel.
a lot of stuff, bro.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
so
stuff
much
that they need to do. I
and
think
then now we've only got 7 episodes left.
I think that's where it makes it necessary to take certain portions of the game out. For instance, you know, exploring the building, Ellie shooting that guy exactly like Elvis said in the hotel. But they're, like I said earlier, they're mashing something that happens later in the game into one episode in that time. Like for they go to the hotel. Tess was already dead in the game by then.
I think we will get flashbacks, but it will only be character building flashbacks for the characters we haven't met yet. For example, Bill and Frank,
bro. Yeah.
Is it Frank? Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
Frank.
for a second there.
Bill and Frank, we're gonna need to know something about them when we get to them. So I think there will be some flashbacks just for the new characters you meet, so you kind of have a better idea who they are as you meet them. But you know that's good use of flashbacks. So I
now I don't know if I caught it. Maybe I missed it. You think we're gonna do the seasons? Because there was like that huge blizzard scene and everything in the game, and then we went to the fall. Are we doing that, or are we just doing this like?
There'd be something like that. I've seen in the trailers. I remember seeing snow, so there must be something. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, there has
so
to
I was
be...
like, are we going to be able to squeeze that into so few episodes? You know, the fall and the spring. I mean, you know, the brothers at the dam near the waterfall area. And what was that? That was in the spring or the fall?
I think it's
Was
fall.
that the spring? Was that fall?
I think so. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's
because
fall.
I thought that was so amazing to go through basically a year or so with them. You know, just the two of them. I guess getting to where they need to go.
Which there will be some changes between the game and the show because we're already seeing the trailers of Ellie and Joel walking in the snow together. But
I see. That's what I was saying. Like I think
but
they
never did that in the game. In the game was Ellie by herself in the snow.
Yeah, they're taking like certain liberties, isn't it?
Yeah, and then other stuff happened. But
didn't Joe chase after her? Didn't he have to go and find her because she got caught? And he was like, he had gotten shot, I believe already.
I think we're trying to keep the spoilers for stuff. So anything from the episode we can talk about, but stuff we know.
Yeah. But that happens later. So preview of the next episode, we're gonna see Bill, right? But now we see Frank.
And Frank.
We didn't get any of that in the game.
Yeah.
So I think that's another way of them giving us backstory, where it's like a new viewer will be like, oh, okay, that's just some guy. For us, we're like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Because in the game, we all we knew about him was he lives somewhere. We got a letter from him. That's it.
Right. Yeah, because in the game, it's just like, that's Crazy Bill. Yeah, I know him. And that's it. Yeah. You know? Oh, I owe Joel, huh? Okay.
I can't wait for that. Honestly, that whole part. That was my favorite part in the game, and that's something I'm really, really looking forward to see is Bill, his interaction with Ellie. And the one thing I noticed about this episode compared to episode 1, Ellie, I think we talked about last week, was Ellie was very aggressive. You know, she's supposed to be 14, but she's acting a little older.
Mm-hmm.
But in this episode, we feel like we're kind of getting the 14-year-old back in Ellie.
Yeah,
bit,
it started coming out a few times. Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Like her kid side still is coming out compared to the last episode. She was very aggressive.
Yeah, I almost felt like she had more of an attitude than any part of the game in that first episode.
That's literally
Yeah,
what
and I felt like
last
Joel
week,
was
like,
counteracting that. You know what I mean? Like the two of them were like kind of at it at some points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The way I see it is,
I felt like they were a
he's the
little bit more
opposite of his
balanced
daughter,
in the
bro.
game.
She's
Right.
like the opposite of her daughter that he remembers, and he's the opposite. So they're gonna like slowly come to there. That's
Right.
how I can see it. And just to like butt in, I'm so sorry, man. In terms of flashbacks, I'm cool with seeing anything. Do not show me Joel's daughter again.
I wouldn't want to.
Do not show me, because that hit really sick. You
I'll
start
take
doing
that away.
flashbacks, it's a bit. I don't know. I think it's a little bit much, man.
I think it would take away from episode 1.
Yeah.
Just because for us playing the game, we saw Sarah, 30 minutes ish?
Yeah,
And that was
it
with
felt
her.
like the show was about her.
Yeah, that whole episode was. Episode 1 was make you love Sarah. She had her comedic side. Like, oh, how cute. Father, daughter and father, thing together. Yeah, she died. Like, we saw her.
I love how they recreated that whole opening
I love
scene,
that.
man. Even like the little extras of the stories and the neighbors God, it was so good.
And it all makes sense. And do you remember when she was getting the watch fixed, and they were speaking Arabic? There's a girl on TikTok who actually told you, like, she translated it to tell you what they said. And the lady says, "Haven't you seen what's going on in the news? I just talked to my sister. We have to close now." And that's what he says in English. And he goes, "I'm almost done." And then she says, "Hurry up." So that's what she said in English.
Yeah.
I found that.
I have a thought about the what Semz just said about not showing Sarah. I think they have a device for it, and they've already used it a few times. So two things. Sarah had this butterfly on her pillow when they showed her waking up. And twice now, they've shown Ellie looking out the window of Joel's apartment with a butterfly on the window. And when Ellie's waking up in that ray of sunlight, when they're sitting there with guns pointed at her, a butterfly flies over her. And it kind of shows a symbol of like metamorphosis and change and things like that. There's also, it's a split second, but as Ellie's looking at the golden dome of the Capitol building, and she's like, "You can't miss a view like that," or whatever. And it's a happy moment, right? If you look carefully, Joel looks at his broken watch for just a second. And I think that's how they show the connections to like Sarah.
I caught that too, and when he did that, I was like, "Why are you looking at your watch when you know it's broken?" That's actually that's actually a good way. Dude, stop spoiling stuff, man. HBO's gonna get
they're done in episode 1, bro. They're done at episode 1, right at the start. You know, when he sits down for breakfast, something beeps to tell him the time, and he looks at him. There's nothing on his wrist. He's like, "Oh," like that, and then he gets his phone out.
Yep.
So Elvis is gonna get sniped, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
He knows too much. He's too dangerous, bro.
It's for some reason, the scene where they're all hiding behind the glass and the clicker's walking around. The game in me told me just grab a brick, bro.
Grab a brick.
Grab a glass bottle and just throw it, bro, and you'll be safe.
But he does. You notice he
Didn't they do that?
over if he was running
through, like the glass.
Yeah,
right?
he pushes the
he-
head thing over.
Yes, into the glass and kind of like redirected them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to spoil it because it happens late in the game. He steps on glass.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was this, he's crouching. I was like, oh, there's the game. He stepped on glass, which is another part in the game what happens hours later. And then he looks up, and that's the thing too, dude, is the clicker isn't just walking around trying to grab. He jumped over.
Yeah, he
jumped over.
Yeah.
And actually, I want to see if I can find this picture. You're probably gonna see my phone stuff. I don't really care because I didn't crop it out. But that scene when the clicker jumped on him, it's like you died in the game.
These zombies.
Remember when you die?
From Walking Dead.
Yeah. Oh, is it the die screen? I can't see
Yeah.
anything on your thing. I don't know if you lot can see that. I can't see anything, bro.
I can see it.
But
No,
I
I
know
can't
what
do
you
that.
mean, though. I know
Yeah.
what you mean. So I did see that. Yeah.
So it's interesting. That's how they implemented that part of the game.
Mm.
You don't die, but that dude sent it full send, jumped over, and just grabbed him.
It reminded me of Jurassic Park, bruv. Like the Velociraptors, man. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know when
right.
they step on the spoon and the raptor like jumps on the table, starts like looking everywhere. I'm like, damn. Yeah, my favorite bit in this whole episode is so random. It's when Joel's holding the torch and he's reloading the revolver.
Yes.
He is
Reloading the gun.
shitting himself. Like every round
Oh,
going
yeah.
into that chamber, he is like, do not make a single noise, mate. Like that was my favorite bit, Jenny, of the whole episode. Like that makes
part-
it feel real. Like, you know what I
That
mean?
part made me think about the brick again. Just throw the casing.
Yeah.
Throw the casing and just get his attention. That's all I kept
Yes,
thinking
yeah.
about. But you're
Oh
right.
my God,
Like
but
that.
the tension was
Oh, mate.
unbelievable there.
And it's
But
fun.
half
I
the
caught
show, like,
myself
they can't
holding
just,
my
like,
breath.
Wham,
Yeah.
reload it. Whoosh, let's go, mate. Come on, Ed.
The one thing that they are doing so good on this show is the fact all four of us have played the entire game, but you're still on your toes.
Yeah.
For the fact that we kind of know what's gonna happen,
Yeah.
but HBO managed to change it a little bit to where we're gonna be like, that wasn't like the game, but that still got me.
Right.
Mm.
Like there's possibilities here. You know, like we know the story, but yet I'm sitting here in bed last night with a bowl of grapes. I'm like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
You know, heart pumping away.
And I'm over here texting Elvis and John, and I'm just like, 30 more minutes, guys. It's coming. It's coming. We know what's happening. We know what's gonna happen. But it's coming because it's a story we're familiar with, but they want to make the change that way the people who are fans of the game can stay interested in the show through all 9 episodes instead of giving up halfway through.
If anything, the changes they've made are helpful for the gamers who know what's happening because it makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's giving
It's
us
almost like getting the greatest reboot you could ever reboot. You know what I
Basically,
mean?
Yeah.
it's giving us backstory that we did not realize we not wanted, but we needed.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. Makes you appreciate the game a little bit.
Yeah, that is true. Like, I really want to play the game. I'm going to let the season 1 finish, and I might play the game again, just because it's getting me really into the mood to play the game again.
John, play the second one.
Yeah, you need to, man.
You gotta play the second
I think I'm gonna have to move on to the second one.
I promise you, an hour in, as long as you're not bothered and you play through the first hour, you're gonna text me after.
Yeah.
Promise.
Now, they didn't re-release that one, right?
No.
They didn't they didn't do a PS5 version.
It looks great. It looks great the way it is. If anything, I see them doing a remaster, which is just no point because it looks really, really good.
And there's more game mechanics where you can like swing on a rope and things like that. So there's new
very Uncharted
things.
Very Uncharted. They implemented a lot of
I
Uncharted.
know. Like they
mechanics.
put like a PS5 patch out or something like that to
They
like double or triple the frame rate or something, so that the flow is better.
Yeah, I think you get full 60 frames if you're playing on a PS5.
Yeah, is that what it is?
I think the second game's amazing, mate. Like, if you forget the story, if you like it or don't like it, everything else is like A star, man. Graphics, gameplay is way better than the first game, I think. Anyway, like,
they implemented new enemies when it comes to humans.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna tell you what it is. I'll let you find out for yourself, and it makes it a little harder. Joel, he crouches in the game.
Finally,
but then in 2, you're playing as Ellie, but she can lay down.
Yeah, can do like the army crawl.
Yeah, through the grass, so sick, man.
So is Joel not in the second one?
He is.
Oh, he's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Yeah, it's just Ellie's older, so not just switching characters.
Bruv, his knees are broken, bruv. He can't crouch.
Dude, you see how many
He's
stairs?
100 years old, bruv.
You see how many stairs he had to go up to? Yeah,
that
knees are
line was
killing
so
him.
good, man. It was so
And
good.
speaking of that scene, it's a good interaction between her and Joel, because that was the first time they're actually sitting in front of each other, talking to each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's trying to get to know each other. She says, "Where you from?" He's like, "No." And he was Texas. You know, how long?
Yeah, I wonder what episode that they're gonna finally kind of break into each other. You know what I mean? Because like in the video game, you saw that. You think 6?
Yeah, 6.
Because you felt that as the game went on, like she's getting really reliant on him, and he's getting really reliant on her, and like they're becoming almost more than friends, almost more like a father and daughter, figure. And I'm wondering when that's gonna break. Like it's gonna break in like 6, 5. Where they're gonna get attached to each other a little bit more.
I
I
see
think when he
every
Because
trusts
episode
her-
to see their relationship grow in the game was amazing.
Mm.
Like she's not his daughter. He's just like, here, I have a job. I got to get her over here. And then they just kind of grew on each other.
Mhm.
So episode
I
3,
love their story.
We're getting Bill in episode 3, and it's weird. I'm still sitting here. We're getting Bill episode 3 already. Shit.
They're gonna
so,
steamroll, bruv. By the time you get episode 5, it's
Bill
gonna
was
start
the
moving
crazy
fast.
dude, right?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
a
and his
hermit.
brother was, what was his brother's name? John?
No, that's Sam and
Joel?
Henry. Sam and
Oh,
Henry's
so-
later.
okay.
That's later, yeah.
Tommy's
It's
the
like-
brother of Joel.
Mhm.
Oh, Tommy's the brother. And Bill is the crazy dude.
Yeah, and actually, what I read too was the guy who plays Tommy is the only one who actually played through the video game to understand his
Oh,
character.
really?
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Which I was shocked about. I thought,
Yeah, that's a bit shocking. Maybe he's like he doesn't want to. Maybe it's good though, isn't it? Because maybe they don't want to act like the game. They want to do like their own version, maybe.
yeah,
'Cause you
Yeah,
can
I
tell
like
like
they watch
someone played the
cutscenes.
game because it feels like the game.
I feel like
Someone played it.
Pedro is really kind of took on a little bit of what Joel was like in the game.
Mm-hmm.
oh, big time.
So he must have watched, or
Definitely, yeah.
he had to get some kind of reference from what Joel was like in the game.
I know.
Even if he didn't play it.
Bella Ramsey said she watched this the story, like the cinematics and stuff, and the videos or whatever.
Right.
But the guy was it Diego Luna?
Yeah.
No, is it Diego Luna?
Gabriel Luna.
Gabriel Luna.
yeah.
I'm thinking about what's his name from Andor.
And
Yeah, he was the only one who's like, I played through the whole thing. He's like, I want to understand my character. I was like, your character's
Now,
Not
did
really
I
in the
hear
game,
the
but-
dude from the video game is gonna be in the show?
I
As just like a guest appearance?
yeah, I don't want to
already
speak
know
to that
I
because I
already,
said it wrong last
you
week.
did. Yeah, you were talking about the guy who was doing the radio stuff. I know who Troy Baker's playing. He mentioned it in the
Did
interview.
he pop up yet?
Was it
Because
David?
he's a blonde guy, right?
How
Is
cool
that
would it be
cool?
if it was David?
Right? He's not David. He's it's not even I don't want to say it. Yeah.
If you gotta say you don't want to say it, don't say it, bruv.
Yeah, I mean, don't say it.
No, no, I'm not gonna say it because I want you guys to see it. So anyone who's played the
Yeah.
game, I want you to see it. Be like, is that? And you'll realize who it is. I'm just waiting for Ashley to come up and see who she plays. Which I heard a rumor too.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that'd be an interesting rumor who she. If it is her, that who she's playing, that's interesting. But
I've
I'm
heard
not-
that. I think I've heard the same rumor. Does it involve pregnancy?
Kind of.
Okay. Yeah. So I hope that's not like a introduce new character kind of thing, but yeah. I've heard that
It's
too.
introducing a new character, but it's not how Simon mentioned, last week.
Yeah, that's the
a whole
only
new,
thing still.
character. That whole new
Right.
character for no damn reason.
Yeah.
kind of makes sense, but
Yeah.
it's a new character.
I'm
is-
sticking with
this
that.
is-
If they introduce John, some mystery guy, I'm gonna be like, no, get him out of here, mate. Shoot him, get out of it. Nah, we don't need some new guy. Like, just keep who we know and news backstory stuff. Sick, perfect.
So we're
So I
creeping
thought
up
the
on
radio
up-
guy was the actor based off
Mhm.
of a YouTuber, a big YouTuber, and he's gone back and said that he was wrong and pinned a comment on his video. But he said that the clickers are the same people that
Yes.
did the voice recordings for the clickers in the
Same
game.
dude, yeah.
They
So
hired the
scary,
same
man.
people to make the exact same.
They were the guys
sounds.
that did the motion capture?
I don't know about
Uh,
motion
And the
capture,
noises.
but the
Those
noises, the
horrible
clicking
noises,
sounds.
man.
The people that
But-
made the clicky noises.
Oh,
Yeah, but whoever did the motion,
they
the
just did
motion
the audio.
capture was on point.
Yeah,
I
really.
think
sick.
they said at the end of the show we found some people who fans of the game, some that would like understand the mechanics of how they move and walk, and because they were fans of the game, they hired them as the actors to do it. So
Oh.
they said that in the after show little thing that they do.
Yeah, I tried to
Oh, I
watch
didn't watch the Ash of the show.
Yeah, I was trying to watch it. I saw it, and then I had to get my daughter to bed, so I was just like, I'll just watch it.
Okay,
After.
how long
so
is
then I
the
tried to
after show
watch it.
thing?
It's not on there anymore.
3 minutes, it's fast.
Yeah, but you can't rewatch it now. I tried last night.
No?
No, I tried rewatching it last night, and as soon as because it happens after the credits are over, when you get the preview of the next episode, and then it's no longer there. Kind of, yeah,
Might be on
I'm
YouTube, man.
It might be on YouTube.
Yeah, it might be on YouTube.
Yeah. So we're about to get into an hour in. Obviously, everyone's happy with episode 2. I'm happy with episode 2. Do you guys think that for the last 7 episodes, it's going to be true to the game? Do you think it's going to be true to the game, but with the changes that we're already getting, that's going to work? Or do you think there might be some things that in the future you might be like, I don't like that change?
Oh God,
There's a
man!
lot
I
there.
think they're going to stick to the same path that they're on. You know, it's going to stick to the game, but they're going to alter it just enough to, you know, edit it because they have to edit the story a little bit to make it cinematic and fit into. So I think they're going to stick to the game, but they're just going to alter some stuff like they've been doing.
Mm-hmm. I think they'll mesh stuff together.
Yeah,
They're like two scenes that are so important they might somehow mesh them together. Because they're going to have to chop out a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A lot of stuff is gameplay stuff, which you
We're
can't
seeing
really
that too.
show. Like
We're
you
already
can't-
seeing that too.
Yeah, I just don't want to see new people, man. Don't show me new people.
Yeah.
Everything else I'm cool with, bro.
Honestly, I think they're going to stick to exactly the formula that they're doing. They're sticking to the game, but they're editing it to a point where it's telling the story correctly, even if they have to alter a few things or change it to make it work for film. You know, to tell the story a little bit better, you know, per se.
Elvis?
HBO know, bro. They know anyway. They
Well,
know
oh,
what
they're
happens.
great, yeah.
They know what happens if you don't.
Yeah.
follow
You know,
the
and I'm
thing.
glad this is an
Game of
HBO
Thrones
show
season
and
8
not a
happens,
Netflix
bro.
show.
Elvis, your thoughts, but don't give enough away because HBO might snipe you. That's what Semz would say.
No, I was just gonna say, I had an expectation before watching the show of they better do this right. I don't have that feeling anymore. I've appreciated every change that they've made and liked the changes that they've made. That I'm now on board with the writers and producers of this show. Whatever they do, I'm happy about it at this point. Like I'm ready to just sit back and watch what they create. Whether it leaves the game further or gets closer to the game, I'm happy. I'm so happy with what they're doing that I'm on board with whatever they give me. I got faith at this point.
Same.
Yeah.
And I think this is literally an example of someone who is a fan of the game and you are directing the show for the game. You know,
Did you notice the director of this episode was the creator? What's his
Neil
name?
Druckmann?
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
He was the director of this
Really?
episode.
Mhm.
That's
Nice.
very
And
cool.
that's the thing is we have all these okay, I'll throw it in there, the Book of Boba Fett, right?
Yeah.
It was an okay show. I think there was something. I was like, it's fine. But with this, we have a guy who is legitimately, we're doing lightsabers now, dude. We're changing the show.
Heck with him.
We're getting a guy who's a legitimate fan of this game, and not only that, we have the guy who created and wrote the show, and they're putting it together.
And the composer.
Yeah. And it's again, we're getting a literal live action of the show, but it's a good example of when you have a true fan of a series and you have the opportunity to work with the guy who created the show.
It's really rare to get that,
And
to be honest.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they're both coming together, and it's, dude, we're 2 episodes in, and I don't know if you guys saw my post on Instagram. HBO Max crashed last week after the first episode.
Nah, it's because of
really?
Velma, mate. Velma was
of
so
Velma.
good. It just crashed, bruv. Jesus.
It crashed. Subscriptions went up for HBO just to watch the show.
Wow.
Yeah, sick.
You know, and again, it's 1 episode in, and people are loving the show. I'm getting texts from friends say, "Dude, did you watch The Last of Us?" Yes, and I played the game 3 times. I did. Do you like it? I love it. And it's just,
Bro,
again,
my
just a great
dad,
example.
doesn't watch TV shows. He texts me early and he's like, "Bring round that episode 2," because he was gassed. Because he doesn't know what The Last of Us is. He doesn't know anything, dude. When Sarah died, he's like, "What?" Like she's the main person. She's gone. Like so. Like I think it's really good. I know you want to end your thing, bruv. Elvis, really quickly, yeah. Did your missus say anything about when Sarah got bit? Did she say at any point like, "I bet she's bit"? Did she not say anything like that, or did she like clock it out?
Sarah or Ellie?
Not. Oh my god. Tess. Sorry, man. I'm losing
Oh,
my
and Tess
marbles right
got
now.
bit.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Did she
yeah,
say
she
like,
kinda-
"I bet she's bit"?
She kind of knew it was coming. Yeah, she
She did
called
know.
it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
she
bet
called it from when they were on the rooftop. When all of a sudden she's like, "We just got to get there. We got to go," and she's like, "Oh, she's in a hurry. She's bit, isn't she?" And I was like, "Do you want me to tell you?" Like,
Yes.
I really want to get someone's input who's never played the game and now is up to episode 2 to see what they thought.
They're just watching it as a show
From-
now.
From watching Sarah die, which you're like, okay, two main characters, you know, we're doing a girl dad thing, we're doing it, and then she dies. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're getting, anyone who's never played the game is getting the same reaction we did playing the game for the first time, but now you're just watching the show.
I
That's a
think
perspective I
my
wanna see.
wife will be a good example going forward because that's
Bring her on.
probably
Yeah,
right
get on,
around
man.
I stopped telling her everything in the game. So she knew about Tess, she knew about Sarah, but I don't recall telling her about Bill, David, the end of the game. Like I don't remember telling her that stuff. So I'm really looking forward to see what her opinion is
I just want
when she doesn't know it's coming. You know,
I wish I can get someone's perspective to watch it. I'm trying to think of someone who's never played the game.
we need to get Jesse to watch it.
I told him to. I already told him to jump on it, and he's like, I never played the game. I'm like, doesn't matter.
This is the
Perfect.
best time to watch it, man. Yeah.
The best part about the show is the fact, we're playing the game, or we're doing this, and we're just playing, and then all of a sudden something happens. It's like, oh, it's a cutscene, so you do one of these, and all of a sudden it jumps back to gameplay. You go, shit. You get a controller. This whole time we're not doing any of that. So those of us who play the game, we have the chance to sit and actually relax, but at the same time have anxiety, even though you know what's going to happen. Because I had anxiety when the clickers came.
Yeah.
Just hearing those sounds, like, I know this is going to happen. Tess is going to get bit. They're going to fight it. They're going to kill it. They're going to run out, go over the little bridge, and they're good. But the entire time I'm sitting there like, oh shit. When's it going to happen? Oh, no. And then he sent it full jump over the thing and just grabbed Joel. I was like, oh my God.
I don't know if John did or not, but I think we all watched it in the dark with headphones on the whole time for the full experience, and that's kind of what it reminded me of, that scared moment. Like every little noise in the house that happens is just like you're just so into it. Like I said, I found myself holding my breath when they were experiencing the clickers in the museum.
Yeah, no joke, dude. I like I said before. I was in my bed with a bowl of grapes like this, and I have a sound system in my room too.
That's
so
what we did.
That shit worked out really
yeah,
good.
we watched it on our big screen. As much as I'd love to watch it, headphones and just watch it.
No, I mean playing the game with the headphones.
Oh
like,
yeah,
it
I
reminded
did
me
that
of
too.
that.
Yeah, I did that too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
But I would love to watch the show with just headphones in the dark and just watch it. But like, I remember when me and my girlfriend first started dating, Shed came over and I was playing it, and the cutscene came on, and she goes, "Oh, that's a good movie." I was like, "It's not a movie." She's like, "What?" I was like, "It's a game." So I had to start the entire game over.
So she could watch it.
Yeah. So
Oh,
now she's
man.
watching the show and acting the same way we are.
That's cool.
But overall thoughts, everyone's happy with episode 2.
Mhm.
Episode 3, we kind of have an idea what's gonna happen. I'm wondering if, because we're gonna see Bill's friend. Do you think this is like actually I thought about yesterday? Are we gonna get the majority episode of them two to make it half the episode Bill and what's his name again? Frank. Are we gonna get let's say it's a hour episode? Are we gonna get a 30-minute of Bill and Frank? 30 minutes of when they make contact with
45,
Ellie and
bro.
Joel, and then all of a sudden the next episode was what we know happens.
I think it'll be just like this episode where it starts and you're like, wait, where are we? What are we doing now? It's a completely different time, different setting. And it's like, what, we were just with Joel and Ellie. Where are we? What's happening? And we got 12 minutes, I think you said, of a flashback. I think it'll be a lot like that. We'll get that 12 minutes or so of Bill and Frank's backstory and then cut to Joel and Ellie trying to get to Billstown.
I'm gonna say the opposite, bruv, because I've the things you can do in video games is when you're playing the game, Joel and Ellie are continuously talking to each other. So you start building up the world through dialogue. Can't do that on a show because you've got time. I would say the Bill thing is going to be 45 minutes. Introduce something, have something horrible happen, take it away, and then wham. And you're like, oh, yeah, we're here now. And then that hits you like kind of thing. That's what I think it will be. If I'm wrong, I'll put my hands up. But I'm reckoning 45 minutes. And the last 15 minutes, Joel and Ellie are going to turn up. Or like be reintroduced on screen.
From their preview, I think I know what's going to happen. I'll say that backstage after this is done. But I think it's going to be half and half similar to the game and completely different.
Mm.
Instead of a splash of something different, I think we're gonna get something completely different.
Like a completely different story, you're saying?
Well, it seems how we didn't
Kind
have
of.
Frank at all in the game.
Kind
It's
of.
gonna.
Yeah.
Mm.
You'll see. I'll tell you backstage. I don't want to put it on here, but I'll tell you. What do you think, John?
I have no idea. I really don't. I really don't. I just whatever they give us, I just hope it's good.
It took me a whole
'cause
hour.
we're going down. We're going down a really good good line right now with how they are creating everything. So whatever it is, but it's like I do want to see backstories are great, but I do want to see more of just Joe and Ellie just kind of getting through this story, because we've already gotten rid of Tess, unfortunately. That was quick, by the way. You know what I mean? So, again, we've got 7 episodes left, and depending on the length of them, I just kind of want them to get to the meat and potatoes already. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to waste I feel like they kind of did that with Star Wars. We're just like the shows were just going and going and going. It's like, all right, now it's the last episode. What's gonna happen? I feel like you were saying Boba Fett. We burned how many episodes was that? 8, 9, 8, I think.
Was it 9?
I feel like half the season was burned through. The Mandalorian was a whole episode, or maybe 2 episodes, I think, because they went over to where Luke was, and I feel like they went so many different places. Like I don't want the show to go so many different places because I felt like playing the video game, you were with them and the story went forward. It didn't go backwards too many times or flashbacks and stuff like that. I do like the fill-ins of the extra storylines, but I kind of want to just stick with Joe and Ellie.
Yeah. See, I mean, I kind of like the flashbacks again because it's introducing us to the character of the cordyceps.
I get that, but I also feel like there are ways of telling these flashbacks in story.
Yeah.
Like they could be talking to each other in a scene.
Yeah.
And that can give you your whole flashback.
I think we want to dedicate our whole hour of a show to just Joe and Ellie. You know what I mean? We just want them. Like that's kind of how I feel something out, but I'm like, that kind of makes sense why they started.
It'll come. That will come. But I reckon that'll be like episode 5, man. Will be like the big, just them two. The way I see it is like we had backstory episode 1.
Yeah.
The world is no joke. If you live in the world, you're gonna be a shit person. Joel's a shit person, bruv. He's just horrible, bruv. At this point, yeah. Stage 2, which is episode 2, show us why the world's so dangerous. So like 2 clickers, character dead, and then the army of clickers come, of bloody whatever zombies come later. 3, if I'm thinking like now we're gonna see how bad people are. That's what I want. That's what I actually like.
Yeah, you're right.
It's how bad
that.
people are. People are the worst. When my man's saying episode 1, there's worse things out there, slavers and all this. I want to see that. I want to see how bad people are. That's why. That's what I like about the game the most. How bad people make the worst decisions, man. Do the worst.
Because in some of those trailer things, they had like the tank going through the street. I think it was in the trailer, right? So yeah, maybe that'll be.
It says I think in the front.
Maybe 3 will focus on the gangs and stuff that are in those cities and stuff.
I think that's episode 4. The game.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, I know it will come eventually. Do you know what I mean? And that will, at the end of that, then it will be Joel and Ellie, the bonding proper. Because then you've seen, damn, this world is in the bin, mate. Like everything's bad. At least give me something good. And then yeah.
All right, guys, I think that cuts it, man. I'm very, very happy and grateful you guys spent the last hour and 13 minutes doing this. Actually, probably less than that because we had a couple mess ups in the beginning. My fault.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
That's
we're good. We're good to go.
Pretty sure that got edited out.
But I'm glad you guys came in. Honestly, this is a great perspective just because, again, Semz and I have been a fan of the game for years, and now we have 2 open-minded people who've just finished the game and now you're watching the show. So this is actually a great thing to see the 4 of us having, which is weird, different perspectives, but it all comes together and it's actually the exact same thing. So super excited for it. Next week we're going to be doing another episode. We're going to cover episode 3. I'm hoping it's at least an hour long.
Yeah.
I would love an hour 20. I would love an hour 20. If we're going to do another flashback, give me a 12, 15 minutes flashback, but give me an hour of Joel and Ellie to develop the story even more. Yeah. So, guys, thank you again. I appreciate you guys so much, and
Thanks,
I'm looking forward to episode 3 next week.
Sweet.
Hey, guys.
Peace.